Hi guys, my name is Natalia and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, and do please consider subscribing. We are talking all things fragrance here. Today I'm gonna walk you through some of the new fragrances that just hit the market, and I also wanted to talk to you about the oversaturation of the fragrance market, and about some fragrances that sometimes they feel redundant or repetitive. I really want to hear your thoughts on that, so please comment down below. I'm gonna start immediately because I have quite a lot of fragrances to go through. I'm gonna start with Chloe Eau de Parfum Luminous. I do have a sample here. I have tested it. I've tried it in the store. So it has the notes of jasmine, sambac, rose, balsamic notes, amber, and vanilla. My thought is that this fragrance is quite amber heavy, and this particular fragrance, even though I have to say that I'm not a particular rose fragrance lover, so I had quite I wasn't sure as to where I should even approach this fragrance, because knowing the line, and we know that this line is very rose centered, and some of the fragrances are very heavy rose scents in this line. But this one, to my astonishment, it is still about the rose, but it's very white, fresh, dewy morning rose. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's fresh. It's not suffocating. It's a nice, pleasant rose, and take it from a rose non-lover. It's a good and wearable fragrance. I have to say, there's quite a little bit of amber in here. I like it. It gives this warmth to this fragrance. It kind of this fragrance like wraps around you. It's a beautiful blanket fragrance. It's a beautiful fragrance, I have to say. White floral, amberly, very very interesting. I I still do have it here on my arm, but I'm gonna just make another spray. It is very it's beautiful. I think it's like very appropriate. It for me, if you divide fragrances into seasons, then I'd say that this is spring to summer fragrance. I personally wear the fragrances all year round, so I can wear it every day, every time I want, because this is how much I have here left. I'm not gonna use it because it's not the fragrance profile that I tend to use, but it's not bad. And in fact, I want to say that if someone would ask me what kind of fragrance would you suggest me buying to kind of approach roses, because roses, let's face it, they can be intimidating, they can be very heavy, they can be headache inducing, but this one is not. This one is very light, beautiful, airy. It's wonderful. So I would definitely advise to start from this. This is a very nice starting point to enter the rose territory, or even the Chloe line, because the Chloe line, this line of fragrances, is huge. And if you, for some reason, you are attracted to the bottles because these bottles are beautiful, and you want these bottles, but you don't particularly like the fragrance, this is a nice entry point in that occasion as well. So it's a nice fragrance. It's a good addition to the line because they didn't have anything similar. But I think that if you look at this fragrance in terms of not just as a part of Chloe, but as a part of a fragrant community, this fragrance is a bit redundant because we have heard these kind of fragrances over and over again. I mean, there's a plethora of this green rose fragrances. Is it unique? No, but I don't think that it was supposed to be unique. But in terms of the line, it is wonderful. It is wonderful and beautiful, and yeah, it's okay. It's okay. it's okay to start with your approaching to this rose universe. The second one is Chance Eau Fraîche Eau de Parfum by Chanel. Now, I have to sip my water because I'm sure that you can hear that I still have some troubles with my voice. Anyway, when I saw this release, I was like, do they release it in a new bottle, but the bottle is still the same? I was like, what is it? Because you see, I am a lover of Chanel Chance, and it happened to be that I owned the previous version of the fragrance that was the Eau de Toilette one, like the fresher version of this one, and I was like, I don't have it anymore, but I was super curious to try this one. And then I saw that they had aldehydes in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, not aldehydes. And especially not Chanel aldehydes that we all know that they can be killers. So in this particular fragrance, there's citron aldehydes, jasmine, teak wood, and amber. I do not have a sample anymore, I've used it and no aldehydes whatsoever detected. The only thing that I have detected was this cleanliness and soapiness. So they were those aldehydes, but it was the aldehydes 2.0. It's like a newest version of aldehydes that are cleaner, soapier, more portable, not as suffocating as the previous ones of Chanel, because I tend to dislike the aldehydes that Chanel is having in their fragrances, because they make the fragrances for me unbearable and headache inducing, and the aldehydes of Tom Ford, I don't go well with them, they make me sick. So me and aldehydes, we should better stay like as far apart as it is possible. But here I love the fragrance, I loved it. I In all honesty, I do still prefer to buy an older version. Not because I prefer the older fragrances in general, it's not the case, but because this newer one is a bit sharp, it's a bit harsh, and especially in the beginning, when you spray it, I was kind of, oh my gosh. And I do love men's fragrances and I do love unisex fragrances, but this one, it was like borderline man fragrances. Not that there's something wrong with the man fragrances. In fact, I sometimes use them. I sometimes get my husband's scents and I use them. I see no problem in that whatsoever. But in that particular occasion, I guess I wasn't ready, because knowing how fresh and flowery that fragrance was, the previous one, I wasn't ready for this kind of punch of citruses, of cleanliness, soapiness. But you do not get this kind of soapiness and cleanliness that you might get from another fragrances that are like clean laundry fragrances. It's not like that. It's a different type of cleanliness. You don't have the feeling of a clean, crisp white shirt. You don't. With this fragrance, you don't. Um, it's a good one. It's just less flowery, less sweet, more sharp, but still good. The longevity of this fragrance, one spray had lasted me 3 to 4 hours. So the longevity, well, we all know that the longevity of Chanel is Oscar worthy. So no problem here. And with the new fragrance, couple of sprays and you're good to go for a whole day. So I like this fragrance as a new offering. And here it comes that do we really need this fragrance? I mean, we had a beautiful fragrance, the older one, and it's really beautiful. It's really wonderfully done. It's impeccable. Do we need a new one? It's in my opinion, it's a bit of a step back. So um, and I mean, someone will for sure say that, well, I like the one, the newer better, and I do understand if you like this scent profile, that then of course. But for me, the newer one, yeah, I was expecting to be an improvement, but in my opinion, it's kind of not. But nevertheless, it's a good one. It's a good fragrance. Although me personally, yeah, I wouldn't go out and buy it. I would go out and buy the older one. The third one is oh, Hermes, Tutti Twilly Hermes. So the notes of this fragrance are lychee, ginger flower, musk. Three notes, and I do have the original one, the first one, which I love to bits. It's beautiful fragrance. It's gingery. It's a bit spicy, but not too much spicy. It's girly. It's beautiful. It primarily it was targeted to this yeah, younger generation of Hermes consumers, but I do find this fragrance beautiful. Then the second fragrance of the same line came out with the pepper. It was good. It was good. I did like it. I still loved it a bit less than the previous one, than the original one, but the pepper one was good. But then the third one came, which was this yellowy fragrance with like this watered down, like the water, ginger water. I don't remember the name, but it wasn't that great. Yeah, I didn't care about that fragrance much. And this one came now, uh, Tutti Twilly, and I was expecting something amazing. And it's not to bash the fragrance, and we have different noses, we have different opinions, but I've tried this same fragrance in 3 different shops just to eliminate the possibility that the first tester that I tried from had gone bad. It didn't go bad. The smell on me, the fragrance on me, it smelled rancid. I'm sorry. There's no other words that I can put it. It smelled rancid. It was so unflattering. It was so, rancid. So I was like, what could it be? What could it possibly be? Uh, there's lychee, and for my nose, lychee can go beautifully right or very awfully wrong. And to my mind, in this sense, it's awfully wrong side. In this case, because it's something that I don't want to smell. It's something that it seems that like this fragrance is old, it's gone bad, it's gone very bad. It's not a flattering scent at all. So yeah, I went out of the store and I tried I tried another tester, the same story, the third tester, and the same story. I didn't even bother asking whether they have a sample because I knew that I'm not even gonna put this on myself. So yeah, no, 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 no. But I do still think that if you like this line, if you like the first one, the second one, you should still go on out and try it out, because maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my skin chemistry and this particular fragrance. It can be, but yeah, for myself, unless they come out with something very beautiful, I'm not gonna go and approach the Twilly line anymore. um, um, I have to say though, and this is about the oversaturation. Uh, they made beautiful fragrance. The first one was beautiful. The second one was a little bit different. It had pink pepper. It had still this kind of gingerly note. Ginger was less dominant. Pepper was in the first place, but the beautiful fragrance as well. But then the third fragrance It was like it was below average. Why would they do that? They do have two fragrances that are very fine. Why would you bother and do the third one? I don't know. All people that I know that love fragrances, no one really cared about the third one, to be honest. So it almost felt like this fragrance was redundant. It almost felt like they had to put something on the market because every single brand is putting uh, fragrances every single year on the market, so they kind of felt obliged to do the same thing. I don't know, but yeah, no, I didn't appreciate that one. Next one is Prada Paradox Intense version, and in Prada Paradox we have a pair narrowly. I have to translate it as that's why I'm gonna go a little bit slower. Bergamot, jasmine, moss, um, essence of the neroli, vanilla, bourbon vanilla, amberfix. Amberfix is a molecule. I guess from the name, it has something about with amber, like amber essence. Um, Serenolide, I had to look it up. This is the odor of the skin and clean mask. It's kind of a clean body smell type of, and amber. So there's quite a pyramid here. Beautiful notes, wonderful fragrance. The first one. I did have 10 ml fragrance of Prada Paradox, and I do still have the 7 mils one, and I did have several samples. Beautiful white floral. Is that unique? No, it wasn't unique. But was it good? Yes, it was definitely good white floral fragrance. Kind of along the line with My Way of Armani. Well, it's just a bit of a different take on white flowers, but still a very beautiful fragrance. Especially if you like white flowers like I do, it was a good addition to the collection. But this one, Prada Paradox Intense, it is intense. I have to give them that. It is intense. It's it's like a cacophony of whiteness, sweet whiteness. It's sweet and it's white, and you kind of have a certain difficulty to tell apart several some notes. And they say that when you have this difficulty to tell apart a particular note, it means that the fragrance is blended well. I don't know. I am not an expert. I wouldn't know. But I do much prefer to tell apart not all notes because it's not possible. I am not nose that creates fragrances. But I fancy when I can distinguish the white flower, that I can distinguish the cherry, I can distinguish some amber or musk. I quite like it. It's like a game to me. But in that particular fragrance, I couldn't distinguish anything. It's like the big white fluff, very sweet fragrance. Potent, strong, huge projection, huge one. But I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this fragrance. Go out rather and buy the first one. The first one isn't that strong, isn't that, it doesn't have this power, but it's definitely a better fragrance, in my opinion. We have a next one, and this is the last one, and then I'm gonna talk to you separately and very briefly about several other fragrances, but I will make a separate video about them and I'm gonna discuss them in depth. A Super Floral by Mugler, and this is the fragrance that is a part of alien alien line. So they say that a woman is usually an angel or an alien. Well, in the kind of mean that a woman loves angel or alien fragrance. I happen to love both, and I happen to own both. And when they come out with this goddess line within the alien line, I was like, it's a new take. It's because they want to attract new younger customers. I applaud to do this endeavor. And I just thought that it felt a bit flat because it was just like average coconutty fragrance, summer vibes, summer for vacation, something like that. I mean, we have plenty of this kind of fragrances, right? In every single brand, I guess. And but then they came out with the more intense version, and then they came out with this one, which is Supra Floral. And I was like, well, I know this name, I know the name. And I wasn't wrong, because Supra Floral, you see, was the name of the fragrance that Mugler actually did a couple of years back, or maybe 10 years back. It was the part of their more expensive line in this kind of square bottles. And it had the name Super Floral. I looked up the notes because I wasn't familiar with every single fragrance in that line. And the notes are not the same, so it's a completely different fragrance. But they kind of reused the name because the name is beautiful. So, but it might create some of the confusion here. So just be advised on that. So we have several notes, interesting notes I might add. Prickly pear, cactus flower, jasmine sambac, immortelle, amber, musk, and desert rose. Desert rose, it's a flower. So yeah, this is the good fragrance. I was expecting this fragrance to be just like the first and the second, maybe less strong than the second, more likely than the first one, but more flowery. Instead, I have to say that for me, this fragrance, it is set a bit apart, because I don't get that much of the vacation vibe, sand, sun, sunscreen lotion vibe that I get from the two other ones. It's a good flower centered fragrance, beautiful, sweet. In my opinion, I do get a little bit like a little reminiscence of the classic alien or the toilette version with this jasmine sambac, because I think that the jasmine here is kind of similar that they used in the eau de toilette one. I have to take a little bit of water because my voice is failing me. So I feel the similarities with the original alien fragrance. I liked it. I like this one. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a flowery take on very heavy jasmine, heavy alien. Do I think that this fragrance was needed? Yeah, in terms of this line, just as with the Chloe, in terms of this line, yes, because they didn't have anything like it. It's like the original one, but less potent and more flowery, and it's good. But if you go out and you search from all other brands, well, I don't think that this fragrance is like so unique. Well, it's maybe it wasn't even supposed to be unique, but it does have this beautiful and no, and those notes that are not used as much, like the prickly pear and the cactus flower and the desert rose. They don't use them that much, so I think that kind of contributes to this uniqueness of this fragrance. Uniqueness in terms of the notes, in terms of the of how you feel this fragrance, of how you perceive this fragrance. It's a pleasant fragrance. Is it a crowd pleaser? I don't think so. It's a bit, it might be a bit flowery for some people, but in terms of this line, yeah, it's a good addition and it's a good scent. I personally wouldn't go out and buy it, although I really love the bottle. The bottle is very beautiful. It has a beautiful color. It's like bronzy rose gold one. It's absolutely stunning. But I'm a lover of original Alien. I love the original Alien Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette, and I stand by them. Those are my favorite ones. So now I'm just gonna briefly take on the redundancy of some fragrances, and again, those are my opinions only. And if you're not agreeing with me, you're free to do so. Please express yourself in the comments down below. But um, I really want to hear your thoughts. Now, in these past weeks, a month, there have been several new releases that came out, and for example, I do have one here. This is the C by Giorgio Armani, and this is the C Intense of 2023. I do have this teeny tiny version, and I was tempted to buy a bigger bottle, and I was like, oh, hold your horses and try it first. I did. With this bottle, I have understood that I did the right choice not to buy this one, because I'm a fan of 2021, of the version of 2021 Intense, and it's like just imagine a huge pile of roses covered with patchouli and topped with sugary, very sweet black currant jam. So it's like you don't feel the roses anymore because it's so patchouli uh, oppressed, and then on top of this, there's the sweetness. And I love this fragrance. That's how the 2021 version smells for me. This one, it has the roses. I can feel the roses here. In that one, I couldn't. And that makes this version for me less appealing. And that's how I actually, after I got this one, I went out and bought the full bottle of 2021, because for me personally it's better. So that's why I was thinking that was it really necessary to get this one, because we all know that C line of Armani is very rose centered, and there are so many rose fragrances within that line. Was that necessary, or was that just they just needed to put out something? And they did. I don't know, I'm not sure. Second one, and I had samples of it, and I've tried it, and I wore this fragrance. J'adore l'or, and this is not a bad fragrance by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. It's a good fragrance indeed, but was it necessary for the line? I guess it has occupied its own niche. It's flowery. Do they have the notes here? Well, they have something written in here. They have the essence, the solar essence of Ylang Ylang, jasmine grandiflorum, and rose cetifolia. So I mean the usual, the rose, Ylang Ylang, and jasmine. So it's kind of your normal standard J'adore that we all love, and I was expecting more from this fragrance, being it a first fragrance that Kurkdjian made for Dior as a head of fragrance department. So I was expecting a bit more. It's not a bad fragrance, as I've said. It's just it wasn't exciting enough for me, I guess. And there was other fragrances that I've tried along the line. This Ultime, Givenchy Rouge Ultime fragrance, it wasn't bad. I happen to own Givenchy Rouge 2021 and Intense version, that one in the black bottle. I do have this dark red and the black bottle, and I do think that they are the best out of the whole line. I do have two bottles, smaller bottles of the classic line, of the classic fragrance, and this one, it kind of felt a bit flat for me. I was expecting more, even though you know I know how it might sound. I mean, you it's a shame that your expectations were not met, but you know, if you put on the box the name Rouge Ultime, Ultime means the best part. It's the ultimate. It's something that is on top of the world. I'm expecting the top of the world fragrance. I'm definitely expecting this fragrance to go out and to overwhelm and to completely make me forget about the predecessor. And it just happens to be that the predecessor I like very much more than this one. And so it kind of, the expectations were not met, and I have a sneaky suspicion that I'm not the only one, that they have already set the standard so high, and it was so difficult then to, you know, kind of to surpass the fragrance, and it wasn't possible, in my opinion. So yeah, and this kind of goes to this redundant territory. Was it necessary to go out with this fragrance if this fragrance is not nearly as good as the previous one? I don't think so. But yeah, it's like having this fragrance in the I always try to think in these terms. Like, if I have this fragrance, does this fragrance add to my collection? Does this fragrance add something that I don't already have to my collection? And the Ultime 2021, it does definitely. The no, not Ultime, Rouge 2021, it does definitely. Ultime, Rouge Ultime, it doesn't. It doesn't take anything away from it, definitely, but it doesn't bring anything into it. So that's why I just like to think about this redundancy of the fragrances and oversaturation of the market, because sometimes it kind of feel like that the brands, they just throw out the fragrances, they throw them into the market, and for us to buy, of course. But sometimes it feels like it's a bit like fragrance made in a rush. I don't know. I'm as I've said, I'm not nose. I don't want to judge. I I know that the work of the nose is a very difficult one, so I just I don't want to say that this is an easy. It's not easy. They make fragrances, and it's not easy. So I don't want to seem like the person that, you know, uh, neglects completely the effort that was put into making this fragrance. But sometimes it really feels like they could have done better. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. And I also would like to briefly tell you that there were, however, several fragrances that I quite enjoy, and I'm planning on making a kind of this express review, very, very fast one, just like this one, but a bit more in depth. I'm gonna talk to you about the fragrances Gucci Guilty fragrance, Tom Ford, the Gucci Guilty extract. No, oh my gosh, I do have it right here in front of me. Elixir, I do have it, and I've been testing it for some time already. L'Elixir of Gucci Guilty, they have this one and the green one. I'm gonna talk to you about this one. I'm gonna talk to you about the Tom Ford Cafe Rose. It was good. Not for me, not good for me, because I don't love rose, but it was good. Rose heavy, very rose heavy. And the other one that I quite liked was the La Vie est Belle, the new one, l'extra, extract version of the fragrance, La Vie est Belle by Lancome. Beautiful, amazing bottle, very beautiful bottle. And I'm going to talk about these 3 fragrances to you. And next Wednesday, I'm gonna talk to you about the Devotion fragrance by Dolce & Gabbana, which I loved. I absolutely loved it, but it's topic for another video. And now I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that sometimes it feels like that the fragrances were made in a rush? Or do you feel like the fragrance market is oversaturated? Do you feel like going out every single year with the new fragrance is okay? Or the brands should kind of slow down and maybe take a little bit of time to develop a better fragrance for us? Like just one quick thought that, like, for instance, let's take Armani. Armani currently has quite a bit of lines. It has Acqua di Gioia, it has C, it has My Way, and every single of these lines, and they have the private line, of course, and the men's line, and every single line, like for example, let's take just C and My Way, just 2 lines. They come out with the new fragrance every single year. So it means that at least with two of these lines, they have to come out with 2 fragrances every year. So there's not much time to develop, not much time to think through the concept, to kind of analyze what fragrances are already out and what are we missing, what do we want to do to kind of fill the gap, to kind of give our customers not just the fragrance with another bottle or the color of the bottle is a bit different, but also the scent profile that would be kind of coherent to the fragrance line, but still a bit different. So they would love to add it to their collections. I mean, give me your thoughts, please, because I am ready to listen to them. I wish you a happiest and beautifulest. It's not possible to say this, but I'm gonna say happiest and beautifulest Sunday. I thank you. Bye.